What's good, folks? Welcome back to Snug Wrestling. My name is Edgar. I am the host, Mr. Blood and Tommy. We are all here. Toxic is out. He's got to take care of some personal family issues, but today we're going to be going over Friday Night SmackDown, the SmackDown after Clash in Italy. So we're going to be talking about the fallout of that. And they're also doing the King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring tournaments. They're on the road to Night of Champions. There's a lot to go over. After what I thought was man, it felt like a long episode of SmackDown, but overall, because of the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments, I was pretty impressed with some of the things that we saw come out of this week's episode of Friday Night SmackDown. But that is just me. We're gonna hear what Mr. Blood and Tommy think about it. Welcome, fellas. How y'all feeling today?
Feeling pretty good. Just got done doing an interview on the Evan Edition podcast. If you'd like to catch me over there talking about my story, my pro wrestling history, my voice acting career and stuff, head on over to the Evan Edition on YouTube and follow him over on Apple and Spotify and check me out there. But thank you for joining us here on the Snug Wrestling podcast, wherever you get your podcasts on Apple and Spotify, live from YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. By the way, before we start, I do want to let the audience know, one, we are incredibly grateful that you guys are always joining us here week in, week out, day after day. I do want to update the schedule change. A lot of people aren't aware of it. So we are no longer doing Friday Night SmackDown reviews on Friday after the shows. We are now doing those on Sunday evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube Live, Apple, and Spotify moving forward. But all the other show days are staying the same. But I'm doing great. SmackDown, I thought, was, for the most part, a good show. I wouldn't call it great. Nothing except for one thing on the show really stood out to me. But other than that, I'm excited to get into the show. But thank you guys again for joining us here.
I am also extremely excited to get into this. Overall, the show itself it had its ups and downs, of course. But there is one thing I'm definitely going to get into when it comes to the King of the Ring side, because that is not much of a victory there, especially with what's coming next for it. But I actually just finished off with my final performance of the show I was doing. I was doing the Addams Family all this week. We just finished that up tonight. So my day has been up and down pretty much all day, as I have realized that with this program that I am doing, I am the last man standing from the first four shows, because the last two, other than me, aged out of that program tonight. So ups and downs on that, but overall, feeling good.
Right on. Quick shout out to Thunder Rules says, hey, I didn't watch SmackDown this week much, but it's all good. We got you covered. We're going to go over all the things that you missed, the matches, the storylines, predictions, and everything that we thought about this episode of Friday Night SmackDown, which, yeah, it felt like a long show. Didn't watch it live, so it didn't have the commercials. So it went from 3 hours to 2 hours for me, because after you watch it, once it's been aired, the commercials get removed. It's an entire hour of nothing but commercials. But there's good news because the reports are coming. I think they have a set date already for when SmackDown is going to go back to a regular 2-hour show instead of a 3-hour show. So that's good news for us. I did not figure out the date, but last year they did it in June around this time. They went back to 2 hours. So if it happens, I'm pretty sure it's going to happen sometime soon. But
I think they said like beginning of July. I think they said
right.
that we'll have it until like the 28th or something like that. And then it'll be the beginning of July.
That's always good.
So remember, by the way, too, it's never a permanent change, guys. They're going to start doing this every summer moving forward, reducing the shows to 2 hours. But around fallish to like winter, it will go back to 3 hours. Just a heads up.
Yeah, that's pretty much what they've been doing the past couple of years, haven't they? It's like they go back and forth from 2 hours and 3 hours.
It started about, I want to say the year before last year, they tested it, and then they stuck to it last year.
All right. Well, because this was the fallout of Clash in Italy, the SmackDown after the PLE. They were in Bologna, Italy. They're still in Europe, which means the shows are extra early. And they started off with Gunther taking over ringside, destroying the announce tables because Gunther's pissed off. The way that his match ended versus Cody at Clash in Italy, it wasn't very fair. According to Gunther, he felt cheated. His foot was under the rope. The referee didn't see it and kept counting, and he lost. So Gunther goes out there and he demands that he's not leaving until he gets what he wants. He wants a rematch. He wants justice for what Cody and the referee did to him at Clash in Italy. Cody comes out and he basically says, you know what, Gunther, you're right. You know, it was unlucky. Your foot was under the rope. However, you're a 20-year veteran. Shit happens. You should know this by now, but it's all good. If you want a rematch, I'll give it to you. Let's do that shit right here, right now. But before that can happen, Sami Zayn, he comes out. And we kind of talked about this a little bit. It's looking like we're starting to see the beginning of the feud between Sami and Cody, which makes perfect sense, especially we know where the next, WrestleMania is going to be at next year, right? So it's all coming together for Sami and Cody to start this feud thing going. But yeah, Sami Zayn comes out and he pretty much tells everyone, you know what? You guys are always overlooking me. You and Gunther, Cody, you guys have done me wrong. You guys always, Cody, you're always blowing me. Wait, that doesn't sound right. Sami says, you're always blowing me off. I'm sorry. You're always blowing me off, and you're always looking past me, Sami Zayn tells good old Gunther, Cody. But Sami says, I'm the biggest threat you have right now. So they kind of go at it. Gunther attacks Cody, and we have like a nice little three-way interaction there, altercation. But yeah, a lot of things happening here. We're seeing the feud between Gunther and Cody continue, but we're also seeing the beginning of what could be a Sami versus Cody feud.
Yeah, so off the bat, really decent set. I'm sorry. You're going to cut that out. You're going to cut that out, but I'm sorry. That was just comedy gold because you committed to it without realizing it.
It was, that's what my note said. Cody is always blowing me. My bad.
I love having male humor. But at the end of the day, professional. We're podcasters. They just give anybody a mic. When it comes down to it, this is a really good opening segment. I like that Cody was like, yeah, man, like, you're right. I acknowledge that you got cheated right out the gate. I acknowledge that, but you've done this. You've been in this shit. You know, this happens all the time. Ref don't see shit. Sometimes shit happens. But Cody also was like, hey, I'm not going to tell you to, build a bridge and get over it. I'm going to offer you that rematch right now because Cody is a fighting champion. Now, when it comes down to it, this Sami Cody stuff, very interesting. I don't know if they're leaning to turning Sami to a heel just yet because I feel like they're trying to ride the line of a tweener for him. If you notice that, he came out, the fans are singing. He's like, oh, these fans that respect me here in Italy, my real fans. But at the same time, he was doing that and basically like kind of like batting down the US fans who were shitting all over him. But here in Italy, he's just like, oh yeah, he's baby facing up. Thank you for appreciating me, yada, yada. He even goes to attempt to save Cody from the beatdown until Cody accidentally hits him with a suicide dive. And then he's backstage talking to Johnny Gargano, still planking on boxes, going like, again, I get left laying when I do the right thing. It's always me. He talks to Nick Aldis. You're always overlooking me, So then he's complaining. But at the same time, to be fair, turning Sami heel, though it's an interesting story beat, doesn't really make sense. He's a lot like Drew McIntyre in this instance, where everything he's complaining about 100% legitimate. he's extremely justified in feeling this way. He is getting looked over. He is getting screwed. He is getting passed over. He is getting forgotten. He is a footnote, and he shouldn't be. So I think that this is all really good building blocks. I think this will quickly become the most interesting thing on SmackDown. And if they play their cards right, it could be the most interesting story in the WWE.
Yeah, the biggest thing is, when was the last time Sami Zayn got a world title shot of any kind? It has been a hot minute since the last time that man has gotten a world title shot, because everybody has just been passing this man up as not a threat, when at the same time, and Sami Zayn did say this, he knows a thing or two about beating Gunther for a title. Because that is exactly what he did at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental title. He beat Gunther one-on-one fully. He pinned Gunther. And that, when it comes to people on that list who have pinned that man fully, that is a very small list. And the fact that Sami Zayn is on it should prove that he himself is a threat to any title that he could possibly hold. But in the world title scene, he is not considered one. And that is the sad part, because he 100% is. Gunther is also 100% justified in everything that he was saying. Luckily, we will be getting a rematch for the Undisputed title with a catch. Next week, we will find out what the stipulation is, what the chosen thing is for Gunther for that rematch. And Cody wants it here in 2 weeks. So we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, that's a good point. And Gunther, once again, acting like the world owes him something. Like he made Cody basically beg him to give, I'll fight you for your title, Cody, but you have to say please. And this time, I want you to give me a rematch, but under my conditions. You have to agree to my conditions so I can get a rematch for your title. It's ultimate fucking dickish moves. But yeah, I'm excited to see what they're gonna do with Cody and Sami Zayn. When it comes to Sami Zayn, ain't no water bottle that's safe backstage, and looks like Cody ain't safe either, man, because they're gonna have a hell of a feud, man. It's gonna be very interesting. I can't wait to see what Cody and Sami get into. And even the thing with Gunther still being involved there, I just hope it doesn't lead to another triple threat match. I want to see Sami and Cody go at it one-on-one, All right, we did they started off with the first round of the Queen of the Ring, which is a fatal four-way match. This was the opening match. And we had Raquel Rodriguez, Bayley, Kiana James, and JC Jane. And I got to be honest, dude, I thought this match was really good for being a fatal four-way match. And there's a lot of stuff that goes into putting a match like this together because there's so many people involved. I felt like they did it. This match was pretty smooth. I think it went really well. They all looked good. JC Jane proved that she can hang with, Bayley and Raquel. And I even like what they did at the end with Kiana James. Kiana James, she ended up getting pinned. Raquel Rodriguez got the win, so she advances. But then they have the big split up at the end between Julia and Kiana James. And they ended up making Julia be the sympathetic babyface, which I'm starting to realize why they made her go blonde and they changed her look. I think making her go blonde, I guess, makes the people care for Julia more or something. I don't know. But it was an interesting choice of hairstyle. But I knew this turn or this split was coming eventually. But I thought it was going to be the other way around. Because Julia has been a heel. I thought, man, they're gonna turn them, and the people are gonna get behind Kiana. But it looks like they're turning Kiana heel, or she's staying heel, and it's Julia, the one that's going to be the baby face in this situation. But yeah, I mean, I thought this match was surprisingly good. I got to be honest.
The match I thought pretty good, much smoother than the first round on Monday. This one definitely went a lot better than that one. When it comes down to it, though, Raquel getting the win, it's not that I don't like it. Raquel does need, to maintain credibility, maintain some kind of momentum, but they stop and start her so fucking often that it's hard to really care. I would have really preferred Bayley get the win here. I thought that Bayley should advance beyond anybody else. I'm sick of Bayley just not getting her fucking due, if I'm being honest with you. I think if anybody in that entire match should have won, it should have been her. Raquel already had a world title opportunity this year. She's been tag team champions this year and last year. JC just fucking got here. She don't need it. Kiana's clearly getting something new because they set her up for the turn at the end, so she didn't need to win here. And so when I look at the end, I'm like, Bayley's the one person who has like not been getting the tag gold, didn't get the IC championship, hasn't had any real opportunities. She's being used as a utility player, and she's still in her fucking prime. So it's like, come on, give it to Bayley. We will get into it later, but this was the night of the Judgment Day. I guess they're really deciding that the Judgment Day need to be pushed yet again, even though they cooled them off for the last like 2 months, really. So for me, it's fine. The turn at the end, I agree with you. Julia being the heel was what made more sense to me. Having Kiana be the one to maintain heel status and Julia get turned face is a choice, but maybe they're feeling like they need more faces on the SmackDown roster in the women's division, and that's fine. But they could also be trying to make sure they have enough people turned in time for War Games too. So that's my real position thinking of why Julia went face here. Is because War Games is just a couple months away. And when you really look at the roster across the board, it almost feels like we've got a lot more heels in the women's division than faces. So, but yeah, the match was a pretty solid opener.
Yeah, overall, pretty good match. Although, with Raquel winning, this is also screaming one thing. Adam Pearce has announced what will be on the show for tomorrow night on Raw. Here's the thing. Liv Morgan's match for the Queen of the Ring tournament is tomorrow night. It screams to me, Liv Morgan ain't winning that match. I didn't think she was winning the tournament at all because of the fact that she is already World Heavyweight Champion. There was no reason for her to win the tournament in the first place. But Raquel winning here and Roxanne not winning hers makes me think that Liv is not winning tomorrow night. She's just not. And with Julia, that honestly makes sense. I mean, yeah, I'm with you guys where I thought that Julia was absolutely going to be the heel in this situation and not the babyface. But at the same time, it's Kiana James. She is a really, really good heel in herself. So that works even better, in my opinion.
Here's my thing, though. My last quick thought on this is that I actually disagree with your line of thinking when it comes to Liv not winning. In fact, I think she does win tomorrow, so they can set up the drama of her eventually having to come face to face with Raquel in one of these matches. And I think that's where the extra drama for the Judgment Day comes in, because we saw last Monday what happened with Roxanne feeling down because she lost her match. And then you see Raquel like elbowing like Liv, like, what are you doing? Be there for her. Like, stop talking about you. She's, and I think the way that Liv had said, when I become queen of the ring and when Dom becomes king of the ring, and you saw the look on Raquel's face where she's starting to realize, you trying to make this all about you. What, we can't win? Okay. So I think that was setting up them eventually having to face each other in this tournament, and then we're going to get more turmoil there.
Yeah, although a lot of people would like to see Bayley get some type of win or some type of, I don't know, get some credibility back on Bayley. I think it tells a better story having Raquel go over here because you also got Liv in the tournament. And even if Liv doesn't win, what if Raquel wins the tournament? Who is she going to go after? Is she going to go after Liv? Is she going to go after Rhea? You know, so it's very interesting what their the start of this Queen of the Ring. No matter which way you try to slice it, you know. And I do also got to put over Kiana James, man. Like Michael Cole said it best on during the match. She's highly underrated. Kiana James is so good. And she was so good in this match, man. I don't get tired of putting over Kiana James, man. She has something. She has something. I think we got to start paying more attention to Kiana James. I hope they take her serious. I don't see her getting put over in this feud between Julia because I think Julia is the one that they're trying to put over. But we'll see how that thing goes between Julia and Kiana James. But yeah, overall, I thought this was a great opener for, you know, a women's fatal four-way match. It was really good, actually. And then from there, let's go backstage really quick because we had Sami Zayn trying to confront Nick Aldis, and again, Nick Aldis just trying to blow off Sami Zayn like everyone else, right? And Nick Aldis is like, whoa, hold on. I can't right now. I don't have time for you because I'm actually meeting with someone else. So, kind of making it seem like, hey, you're not as important as this next person who I'm going to meet with right now. And ends up being Chad Gable. Looks like Chad Gable, I don't know. He was on SmackDown meeting with Nick Aldis. Could Chad Gable be going to SmackDown? If so, what do you think that's going to look like?
I think we're finally going to get a serious run out of Chad. I think they're finally going to pull the trigger and give him a real upper mid-card run. I mean, you're talking about a damn near hour-long incredible match with Ludwig Kaiser, El Grande Americano, and AAA. You know, that match went, what, like 42-ish minutes? You know, entrances and the shit after where they were had the unmasking. It was like 42-minute match. These guys tore the house down. They might have match of the year, and Chad proved that you put him in the spot that he needs to be in, he's going to tear the fucking house down. He had that match with Ludwig. Imagine the match you could have with Cody, with Seth, or with Drew McIntyre returning, with a Gunther. Like, you want that. For me personally, I think it looks like he gets an upper mid-card run. I think he goes after the IC title. It's the IC title on SmackDown. Am I correct? Or am I blanking? Is that the U.S. title?
It's the U.S.
Okay. So the U.S. title on SmackDown. But when I look at it, the only thing that confuses me is, did they just say fucking American Made is over? That's my biggest thing, is like, you guys are forgetting he was the leader of a stable, a group, when he went out injured. And even when he came back, those were his stable mates acting as his backup against Bravo and Ryo. So if he's just over here by himself, are we quietly moving American Made back to NXT, to Speed? Are they going to get, I mean, because when you see this kind of thing, what worries me is, oh, hey, someone's going to get released. Because let's be honest, without Chad, I doubt they have anything planned for the Creeds. Where's Ivy Nile? You know what I'm saying? So I know she's on Speed, but I'm pretty nervous that, or main event she's on, but I'm really nervous that these guys are maybe looking down the barrel of a release, and it's kind of disheartening when I know there's so much more we could do with them if they really tried.
Yeah, with Chad back, thank God, because it needed to happen. It is very clear that Ludwig Kaiser is, in fact, the better El Grande Americano in both brands, even as the heel version and as the babyface version in AAA. That is just as big as that is. But I'm with Blood on this one, where I think that American Made is done. I think it's gone, unfortunately. The problem is, Creeds, you could possibly push them in and keep them in the tag division, do something with them. There's one person I'm worried about that we haven't seen. We didn't even see her under a mask, that being Ivy Nile. We haven't seen anything from her, and I am terrified that she is going to get released, and she's going to be the underrated one that will constantly get released. And that's going to be the upsetting part, because she could do so much more easily. I could have seen, while Julia was US champ, I easily could have seen that match, and that match would have been a phenomenal match with that. But with Ivy, I am terrified that she is looking down the barrel at that release. And Chad, I congratulate you on one thing, but you have to remember, he's right. I believe it was either Dragon Lee or not Penta, but his brother.
Right.
It was one of the two of them that he apologized to about his original intentions with the El Grande Americano mask, and how his entire plan was to attack the people he hates, to see what the luchadors do. That way he can plan a way to beat them and beat the ones that he despises most. But that luchador he was talking to was right. It's not just him that he offended with that. It is everyone with it. It's Penta, it's Dragon Lee, it's everyone under that mask. He's got to do more than just apologize to one.
Yeah, super babyface Chad Gable, who got a huge pop when he showed up on SmackDown. So yeah, very interesting. If they keep him on SmackDown, I think that'd be great for SmackDown. Because they got Finn Balor over there. Now they got Chad Gable, it's looking like. So very, very interesting stuff now. All right, the next match, you guys, we had Tala Tonga versus Royce Keys. And Royce Keys lost. He got pinned by Tala Tonga. And I saw a lot of people talking shit about Royce Keys. Oh, he should have stayed in AEW. Oh, he's getting pinned by Tala Tonga. Oh, blah, blah, blah. That's so terrible. No, people. It clearly, some people don't know how pro wrestling works, because, okay, yes, Royce Keys he held a couple titles in AEW, but guess what? It takes a little bit more in pro wrestling than being a champion to get the people to care for you, to be over, to say, hey, you have to build character. And that's what they're doing here with Royce Keys, which is that's not, I feel like that's not something that they did a lot for him in AEW. Yes, he held 2 championships, I believe. The TNT championship and like a trios title. Royce Keys hasn't won any championships in the WWE. However, they're investing time in him. They're building him. They're introducing his character. We know about his background, his upbringing. They're trying to give him personality, which that's something that was not done in AEW. He would just be someone's security guard, part of a faction, but just a background character. Here, he's involved in the storyline with MFTs. There's history with Jacob Fatu, and there's, he's being mixed up with R-Truth and Damian Priest, so they're spending time with Royce Keys. So I just wanted to break it down, like just go down the facts. He's doing just fine, just because he lost to Tala Tonga, which, by the way, it was a 3-on-1. Like he lost, but Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga had to get involved in order to pin Royce Keys. So in that way, he's protected too. And not to mention the stuff that Royce Keys has already accomplished in WWE, which was the Andre the Giant battle, whatever thing, right? He won that. So just be patient, people, okay? Just because he got pinned to Tala Tonga one time, it's like, oh, he should have stayed in AEW. No, you idiots.
Yeah, he won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. But at the end of the day, nail on the head, man. I mean, let's be honest here. At first, I was pretty annoyed that he lost. And then I thought, well, wait, they protected him in defeat. He was outnumbered, 3-on-1, distraction, ref didn't see it. That's wrestling 101, when you're trying to protect someone, you're also trying to build simultaneously. Now, losing to Tala Tonga clean, yeah, I can understand the discourse there. Like, it's Tala Tonga, a slightly more mobile Great Khali, essentially, who actually bumps, but when it comes down to it, there's no shame in losing in a 3-on-1 against a group of guys who are technically what would you say? The second most featured story on SmackDown. So he's in a good position, first off. He's in a really good position. And I do see, at least in my opinion, the US championship in his future before the end of this year. But they're doing the slow burn build. Sometimes they'll push a guy and they'll force him down your throat. Other times they're going to organically get a guy over when they think that organically works better. When I look at Royce Keys, I get the feeling that building him organically, getting the audience to come on their own to loving him through seeing him in the ring, having him cut promos. I think that's the route WWE's going for his build, because you heard the audience tonight when he went to take the straps. And they are reacting to him. That is your barometer that you already know that WWE will tell you ad nauseum is what they gauge. Live fan reactions. So to them, they hear that means he's working. So when it comes down to it, be patient. He's been here since the Royal Rumble, and then he was gone for 2-3 months, probably still going through some stuff at the Performance Center, probably a little bit of retraining, some more stuff. So he's really only been on TV consistently for about a month now, a month and a half. So when it comes down to it, be patient, give Royce time. This was not a bad move. This was just smart booking.
Yeah, as was already said by the both of you, this man is connected in 3 different lines, essentially. He's got the bloodline with Jacob and him hanging out with him. He's got his problems with the MFTs. That's the secondary storyline. And then the other one with Damian Priest and R-Truth. There's 3 right there. So clearly they are trying to figure it out. They are using him consistently. And that's what needs to happen, because of the fact that the biggest complaint after he first debuted at the Rumble was, why was he out for so long between the Rumble and his first actual match? That's what quite a few people were going after. Hell, even I said it once or twice. That was the biggest thing for me, was how long it was between the Rumble and then. But overall, of course, this was going to end up being a troubled match in itself, because obviously you've got the bloodline full-on regular thing of, I'm going to use the numbers game anytime I possibly can. That is a bloodline tradition at this point. But you've also got the fact that Tala is taller than Royce Keys. He is heavier than Royce Keys. So, of course, this was going to end up being a challenge, even if this was a one-on-one. That's another massive thing there.
The only thing I'm going to say, because I have 2 further points to make. The first point I want to make is the only problem I had with the match is I just didn't buy that Tala Tonga was a problem for Royce strength-wise, where he's struggling to lift Tala. Tala's a big guy, but he doesn't really look like he's super, he does not look believably too heavy for Royce Keys to pick up. I look at, dude was like a power lifter. When I look at him, I go, dude, Tala Tonga is fucking Tuesday for this guy at the gym probably. So I was just having a little bit of a hard time buying the believability, the John Cena spot, lift and then, you fall, that kind of thing. I just didn't buy it. But my other thing that none of us talked about is, are they turning Damian Priest heel? Because they had a chance after the match to save him from a beatdown. R-Truth comes down and tries to save him. But then R-Truth gets his fucking clock rocked. We find out that he's still technically not medically cleared. He's saved by Damian Priest, his tag team partner. But instead of going in to help Royce, the other babyface, Damian, to booze, gets R-Truth out of there and says, it's not our business. Let's go. And leaves Royce to get hit by the cutthroat from Tama and just left there unconscious. So I wonder if they're trying to turn Damian heel, where he's going to turn on Truth, and then Royce's first real feud is going to be with Damian Priest.
I don't think so. I mean, everything that Damian Priest was saying kind of makes sense going back to, R-Truth. He was taken out by the MFTs like a month ago. And Damian Priest had a match and told R-Truth, hey, don't come out there because you're hurt. They're going to fuck you up again. Stay back here. I'm trying to watch your back. Don't do it. R-Truth goes over there. So it's like this constant thing of R-Truth trying to be the right thing and Damian Priest just being like, hey, you got to take care of yourself first before you start taking care of everyone else. So I think maybe that's what they want us to believe. They want us to believe that there's going to be tension between Royce and Damian Priest, but I think eventually they're going to get on the same page.
That's fair. I mean, I can already tell this is ending up in a 6-man tag match either next week or the week after.
There it is right there. The other thing that I thought interesting about that, there was a backstage segment with Solo Sikoa and Royce Keys afterwards, right? Which I thought was odd because after this match, didn't the MFTs beat up Royce Keys? And then we fast forward a couple segments ahead. Solo Sikoa goes up to Royce Keys like they were in the trainer's room. He was getting iced after they had just beat him up. And Solo goes over there to try to talk to him, to reason with him. And Royce Keys is like, just talking to him. I'm like, bro, they just whooped your ass. And you guys are just going to have a conversation? Let's just talk it out. But what I thought was interesting was Solo still trying to recruit Royce Keys. And he mentioned something about war. We're going to be going to war. So, which side are you going to be on? Which got me thinking, are they trying to set up for war games? And if so, is Royce Keys going to be a part of it? Is he going to be a part of the MFTs? Or is he going to be on the babyface side, which could be the bloodline with Roman and the Usos? That would be fucking great for him if he's in the War Games team with Roman Reigns.
Well, it makes me wonder who the hell's on the heel side, because Roman made that comment at Clash in Italy where he said when he points over to the MFTs when they're at the barricade after the match, he goes, well, I got something for them too. That makes me think we are doing Bloodline again versus MFTs in War Games, which is fine, but it makes me wonder, when you're talking about the sides, you have Roman, the Usos, and Jacob. That's 4. Sammy is not going to help them again. He's too busy turning heel. So that's 4. So 1, who is the 5th for Roman's team? And when it comes to the MFTs, you've got 3 over there because they got rid of the other 2 that made them 5, that being Jeff Cobb or Jacob Mateo, and being Tongaloa. So my thing is, okay, you got 3. You need 5. Both sides need 5. So yes, Hobbs goes to either side, but then who fills in those other 2 slots? I have a slight prediction, and this might sound crazy. What if Seth Rollins joins Roman's side for War Games?
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I would much rather see that than see the Bloodline versus the MFTs again, Yeah, when is War Games, by the way? Is usually like November, right?
I think it's usually Survivor Series is usually November. Yeah.
Okay, so we got 5 months. Yeah, maybe we're just getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, though.
I mean, the way things are going, it feels like we're going to have a lot of turns in the next couple of months. A lot of turns.
I still would say Seth, though, because of the fact that Roman now has 2 problems with Seth Rollins. He still holds that grudge from that Shield moment where Seth turned on him then and took the chair to his back. And then you've also got that triple threat from a couple years ago with that. And the fact that he had this entire plan to have Paul Heyman turn on Roman. So he's got that second little problem with him too. The question is, if that were to happen, how does Roman get over both of those issues?
I don't know. I mean, we still got to figure out what CM Punk's doing during the rest of the summer and fall. We don't know where he falls when he returns. We don't know what's happening with Cody, because usually War Games can be all encompassing from SmackDown and Raw. So we don't know what Cody's going to do. He could be a heel by that point. We don't know. We don't know where Randy is when Randy's coming back. There's a lot of variables. So it's going to be an interesting summer leading into fall for sure.
We could still get Seth versus Roman at SummerSlam.
That's very true too.
All right, we'll keep a close eye on that. The next match, we had a women's tag team match. Tiffany Stratton teamed up with Charlotte versus Jade Cargill and Michin, where Jade Cargill pinned Tiffany Stratton, the U.S. champion, again. And, you know, there's a lot of history between Jade and Tiffany, and they're starting to build up this feud between Charlotte and Jade even more. But before that, there was a promo segment that led to this match. Rhea Ripley, the women's champion, still recovering from her match at Clash in Italy, where she defeated Jade Cargill. She cuts a promo and she starts by saying, "I finally put the Jade Cargill drama in my rearview mirror. I'm done." But then Rhea continues to cut a promo on Jade, and I was like, fuck, I thought you said you were done with her. But she gets interrupted by Charlotte. And then Tiffany comes out, and then Jade comes out. And I believe all three of those women are going to be in the other Fatal 4-Way Queen of the Ring tournament match on Monday Night Raw. So all of these women are coming after Rhea Ripley. Now, as they should, right? Everyone wants the champion. I like how Rhea's getting most of the attention, and no one is coming after Liv, right? Which I thought was funny. But one of the things that stood out to me the most about this whole entire thing was Charlotte Flair. I noticed that, you know, she wears the brace, right, on her knee. After seeing her step into the ring and seeing Charlotte in that tag team match, I don't think Charlotte is 100%. I think she's still injured. She still has a knee injury. Just the way she's been wrestling lately, it's been a lot more safer. She's not really putting a whole lot of weight on that left knee. It's kind of concerning just seeing that, you know. She's being extra safe, as she should be, but it's not the same Charlotte Flair like I'm used to seeing, I guess. It was just sticking out to me more this past Friday Night SmackDown for some reason. Did anyone else notice that, or am I tripping?
No, I mean, to be fair, Charlotte's very close to 40. At her age, you know, and I don't mean that derogatory when I say that, or derogatorily when I say that, but at that age, when you start getting towards the upper tier of your career, where you are probably just within the next 5 to 6 years of retirement, you don't want to leave the business where you can't get out of bed in the morning without needing help, standing, walking upstairs, that kind of thing. She's just protecting her body until she really needs to go all out. I've noticed that about her for the last 6 or so months, that when she wrestles on TV, she wrestles her safer style. When she's in PLE mode, she goes harder. And I have noticed that. But I will say this, in that match, she was the most over person in the match. The audience fucking loved her, as they should and as they do. I'm going to say something really divisive here, and I noticed it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe y'all agree. But personally, I thought the weakest link of this entire everything, from the promo segment to the match, I thought Tiffany Stratton was the weakest link. I thought she was a weaker link than even Jade. And I never thought I'd say that. And I am not the biggest Tiffany Stratton fan. Everybody knows that. I'm also not the biggest Jade fan. Everybody knows that. But when Tiffany came out, audience barely gave a shit. They actually reacted more to Jade's stuff than they did Tiffany's. Tiffany was getting crickets. Tiffany is one of those wrestlers that unfortunately was the it girl, the it, flavor of the month that lasted several months. But from that horrible title reign she had, then being gone for so long, then coming back and winning the U.S. title automatically, which felt like a here you go kind of thing to keep her strong. Tiffany honestly feels like a champion without any momentum. She genuinely feels like a champion without any momentum. And I think it's kind of telling when I feel that the audience cares more about Jade than they do about the United States champion. That being said, the match itself was fine. And again, just to push that point home, who ate the pin? The champion, the only champion in the match. So let that sink in right there.
Yeah, let it sink in, but there's only one thing that in my mind I am screaming. Do not give us another goddamn Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill feud. Please do not give us that shit again. Because that was a bunch of dog shit when you first did it over the damn world title. Let alone over a damn mid-card. And it is very clear by the fact that Jade Cargill went 100 days with no defense of that world title when she held that. She needs to stay away from titles for a bit. I feel the same way about Jade Cargill as I've recently felt about Gunther. Both of them need to stay away from goddamn titles for a hot minute. Jade needs to get better and start climbing to that. Get used to the feeling of struggling. Because that's the problem with Jade, is she is being shoved in and shoved in hard. And that's the problem. The fact that she's being shoved down our throats as world champion, and now she's most likely, if she doesn't win this tournament, going to go after Tiffany Stratton with that United States title, most likely going, hey, you know that tag match we had? I pinned you. I think at this point, I'm in the top echelon for a United States title shot. And I think that's what's going to happen here, is the one thing that I don't want happening, which is yet another feud between Jade Cargill and fucking Tiffany Stratton.
And my favorite match of the whole entire night was Ricky Saints versus Carmelo Hayes. Yeah, man, it was just, I love Ricky Saints so much. Is Ricky Saints in the King of the Ring tournament? I don't remember.
I'm not sure.
Well, if he is, he would be my favorite to win it. Like I could picture it now. King Ricky, with his attitude and his demeanor, his heelish ways, he would make a great King of the Ring winner. I would love to see that. But yeah, man, he's just, and Carmelo Hayes is great himself too, but they did Ricky Saints hit a fucking bulldog. A simple bulldog. I can't remember the last time I saw anyone hit a bulldog in wrestling lately.
Cody. He hits it all the time.
A bulldog? Just
it's one of his regular moves. A running bulldog from behind. Not off the top rope, but a regular bulldog from behind.
Okay, maybe, but when Ricky Saints hit it, I was like, oh, well, that's refreshing to see. Maybe Cody's the only one that does it. He does it so often that I don't even notice anymore. But I was like, oh man, that takes me back, I'm just a huge Ricky fan, so I thought this match was great, and he got the win. He got a roll up over Carmelo Hayes. 1, 2, 3. Amazing match, I thought.
I actually agree with you immediately, because the moment I watched it, and I thought it was match of the night. Genuinely, I thought it was the best match of the night. Every other match, I said this at the start of the show, that I thought the show was good. I didn't think it was great. And I said there was the one thing on the show that stood out to me. It was this match. I thought this match was incredibly well done, incredibly well put together. These two just have a really, really nice chemistry. chemistry that you see from wrestling soulmates, as they like to call it. They just kind of have something. I don't know if this is going to be a best of 7, but I would take a best of 7 series out of this. In fact, the last time we got a best of 7 series on SmackDown, I want to say that was Carmelo Hayes versus Andrade. And it was fucking fantastic. Every week, back to back. It was like the highlight of the night, in my opinion. But Ricky proving that, AEW, and I don't mean this against AEW fans, but AEW was holding him back. I mean, they gave him moments to shine, but he never had the spotlight long, right? But when you see him in NXT, fantastic. When you see him on SmackDown, he has got his character dialed in. He is crisp in the ring. His timing is excellent, incredible ring acumen. He's got a great look. He's in great shape. He looks like a cocky prick. And you believe that he's a cocky prick. And then you got Carmelo, someone that I feel like we all believe they started pushing way too late. They pushed him like his first 2 weeks on SmackDown, 2 years ago, then waited like 2-3 months, then gave him Andrade in a best of 7, then forgot about him again. And, so-and-so. Oh, he wins the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. But then it's just like, dude, the guy, fucking Carmelo is incredible. So to put him in there with someone like Ricky, who, in my opinion, is incredible. And I think when I look 10 years down the road in WWE, even though there's no more lifers in the Fed, I look at Ricky and I go, that could be one of the main faces of the company in the main event scene within 10 years time. And if you told me that, I would believe it. He just has it. He's got the energy, the charisma, the moves, the look, the crowd reacts to him, and you buy everything he does. So this was my highlight and match of the night. No questions asked.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that. This was 100% match of the night. But are we just scraping under the rug the whole Carmelo Hayes has issues with the United States title scene?
Carmelo having what?
Or am I thinking of somebody else?
Carmelo having issues?
Yeah, with the fact that he had that whole 3-way with Sami Zayn and the current one.
Are you basically trying to say that we're brushing over the fact that they just pulled him out of the U.S. title scene rather than finishing the story he had with Trick Williams and Sammy?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's a brush over. I mean, it's not that it was a brush over. It's just that he was the champion for a while, was going hard on weekly defenses. The story changed directions for them to highlight Trick more and Lil Yachty more and Sammy more. And then they gave him the break that he kind of needed and had earned. And when he came back, they were like, hey, we're just going to move you on from this. So I think that's fine. I don't think it's a brush over. I think it's, well, what else are we going to do with you in the U.S. title division? You were defending it for like 12 weeks straight. And then you started the story and the feud that we had on the books for after you. Take a break, come back. We're going to start something new. I think it's fine.
This could also be still part of the U.S. title scene. Like, they still have to earn a title shot. They still have to get wins at some point to get a title shot. They still have a lot to prove to get back to that number one contendership, right?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But overall, I am with Blood, where I would not mind a best of 7, since it is very clear that Carmelo Hayes is fantastic at best of 7s. He did it with Andrade, and I'm pretty sure he did it with Ilya Dragunov as well, because I know Ilya had like a best of 5 or best of 7 thing going on at one point. But it is very clear that the guys pulled up from NXT are very, very good at that, and especially Ricky Saints. I am predicting easily that this man, I'm giving it 5 years maybe until Ricky holds a world title, because I would not mind a world title run from Ricky Saints, especially within the next 5 years.
And then Lash Legend defeated Chelsea Green.
Yeah, my thoughts on this are quick. I was annoyed that when I went on the WWE's YouTube channel, they had posted the match and did the edit and stuff, but they titled it "Lash Legend Squashes Chelsea Green." That was not a squash match. That was like 6-7 minutes. Okay. And Chelsea got quite a bit of offense in, and Lash did not beat her easily. In fact, Lash was close to losing until she reversed the unpretty her into the Lash extension. But when it comes down to it, Chelsea is just remarkable. She did a great job making sure Lash looked good in there. But Chelsea's also coming off of a major cardiac surgery just about 2 months ago, month and a half, 2 months ago. As someone myself who personally has had 2 open heart surgeries, I can tell you how taxing that is on the body, how difficult the healing process is. And I'm impressed. I'm not exactly specifically sure what procedure they had done, but she was on a podcast on Busted Open Radio talking to Natty Neidhart and David LaGreca the day after she got out of surgery. She's in the hospital on a fucking video call because she still didn't want to miss the interview a day after surgery. So I have nothing but respect for her because she could have taken more time. She could have relaxed more, gotten that free paycheck, didn't have to bump and let her, because I can tell you right now, my last open heart surgery, I lost 20 pounds in 1 week from the amount of atrophy that I had and the amount of, I couldn't keep food for 5 days straight. And it was 2.5 month healing process. So whatever she went through, hats off to her. That girl was one tough son of a gun. Love Chelsea Green, respect Chelsea Green, give Chelsea Green the world, give her all the titles.
Yeah, just the fact that she's going from open heart surgery to 2 months later being in the ring with Lash fucking Legend, the one person who they are putting over as a absolute monster right now, with putting her with Nia Jax, another girl who they've been putting over as a absolute monster as of late and always has been, but still there's a reason for that. And I think that at this point, I'm under the same wavelength of Blood where I have nothing but full-blown respect for her simply because of the fact that that was surgery, like full-on surgery, the same type of thing that took Cody out for a while. It was a different type of surgery, but man was still out for like over a year. Kevin Owens also had surgery like over a year ago and still has yet to return. So clearly, surgery is not an easy thing to come back from. And the fact that she's coming back from it 2 months later and is still able to go like nothing happened is remarkable from her. It is absolutely phenomenal. And I absolutely love that for her. It was not a squash whatsoever, but the fact that she was able to do a 6-7 minute match like 2 months after surgery is phenomenal.
All right, you guys, and then the main event. I was really looking forward to this because they had a lot of my personal favorites, right? We had Trick Williams, the United States champion, Bron Breakker, one half of the world champions, tag team champions, Dominik Mysterio, AAA Mega Champion, and Damian Priest, one half of the WWE Tag Team Champions. All 4 guys, all champions in this thing, right? Damian Priest, former world champion, and just a lot of top names here, right? These names have like the potential to have a lot of like dream matches for me, for my personal opinion, right? Dom versus Bron, Bron versus Trick, Dom versus Trick, and Priest as well, And I was so pumped for this. I'm ready. King in the Ring, Fatal 4-Way, let's go, right? And then it starts, and it's just, this match was just rough, man. It was rough to see. It just felt off. I like the Queen of the Ring opening Fatal 4-Way match better than this main event that had all these top names in this thing. And I'm just like, what is happening here? It wasn't the smoothest, it wasn't the cleanest, it wasn't the greatest. It was rough, man. Dominik Mysterio ended up getting the pin on Damian Priest. Again, they have history. Dom and Priest, former Judgment Day buddies, right? So I'm like, why is it just not clicking here? What is going on? But now we're going to see Dom versus Oba in the next round of the King of the Ring. But man, it was just I was just really not expecting what we saw out of this main event.
Man, they're really just afraid to pull that trigger on Bron Breakker, aren't they? When it came down to it, you're correct. The match was out of sync. There was quite a few timing issues. The Tower of Doom spot where they were Bron was trying to get proper placement on the ropes, and they were trying to make sure they didn't go too early. I felt like they were trying to figure out, how tall, Damian Priest is versus like the height difference between, all of it. So it just felt like they almost were, just constantly like trying not to hurt each other. And in doing that, the audience could clearly tell, hey, we're trying not to hurt each other, which breaks the immersion. I also think that this is what I said earlier. They really just feel like, hey, we're going to push the Judgment Day again. The best thing about this match was the finish. Damian south of heaven on JD. He's about to get Dom, and as soon as he gets him up, the perfect timing from Liv with the low blow. And then, I thought that was a great finish. But I think the wrong guy won. And I'll tell you why. I genuinely believe, and you can tell me, oh, it's too quick. You want them to pull the trigger on it too quick. They should build it for a story. I think Bron versus Oba in the semifinals would have been money. Talk about popping a rating. People would have tuned in for that. You know what I'm saying? It also makes, I know that it protects Bron as well because he didn't get pinned, but you're also going, hey, here's another thing you're not going to win. And I think that's going to start pissing fans off, and they're going to start cooling off on Bron. And it just keeps going to show that they have replaced whatever they wanted to do with Bron. And I feel like they just gave it all to Oba, because if you think for 5 seconds Oba Femi is losing to Dom clean, you're insane. The only thing I can see happening is that Dom will beat Oba if Brock interferes on Oba. Other than that, if Brock doesn't interfere, I don't care how much distraction bullshit you pull. Oba's gonna murk Dominik Mysterio.
Yeah, plain and simple here. Yo, Dom, you better pray to whatever God you pray to that Brock Lesnar interferes, because that's the only way you're beating Oba Femi and saving yourself from getting murdered, dude. Because you are going to get squashed if Oba Femi does not end up getting screwed over by Brock Lesnar. Although there is one thing that I could see happening with that. I could see Dom losing the semifinal and then Brock Lesnar screwing over Oba Femi at Night of Champions. Right there in the finals, when he's this close from getting the crown, and Brock Lesnar screws him over right there, which would be a perfect setup to Minneapolis for SummerSlam. There is that. But I do completely agree as well that Bron is getting screwed over. He's getting the LA Knight treatment. Like, he's getting the short end of the stick as of late a crap ton of times. The only reason why he has a title around his waist right now is because of the fact that Logan Paul is injured. Man tore his tricep after that landing from Antonio. Like,
my question is this. If Oba goes out because of Brock, who the fuck do you have win this thing for SummerSlam? Who is a big enough name to face Cody? The only person I can think, because if Oba goes out, Bron goes out, Damian didn't win it, Drew and Randy aren't here, LA Knight is potential, but the only two people that make sense, and I said this before, LA Knight's one, Jey Uso is the other.
Well, it could be Roman too. They could go after Cody or Roman.
Well, that's the thing. I don't see Jey going after Roman. So because Jey was asked by Roman to go after Cody. But if LA wins it, he is going after Roman. And my biggest thing is it's SummerSlam tonight. I love LA Knight, but we got to think of how WWE thinks. They think marquee, biggest names for the biggest matches possible. They have not proven to me that they believe in LA Knight enough to put him in a main event marquee match with Roman ever since the last time they faced, where he was the hottest thing in wrestling. He is not that now. So I'm to believe that WWE will put LA Knight in a main event marquee match against Roman Reigns. I have to think it's Jey they're thinking about, which then still begs the question, who's Roman at SummerSlam? You know, there's so many variables. We need to look at who's left in this tournament to really determine who Oba goes out to because of Brock. And I genuinely think it can only be two different people. It's got to be Jey or LA. Yeet.
Well, that's
not LA. Then here's the biggest thing. If it's not LA winning the crown, then he has to win the briefcase. Otherwise, at this point, as much as I hate to say it, since you're not giving him anything else, you're not giving him a chance to even show himself out there, just release him.
No, stop. No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to say, let's release LA Knight, bro. No, that's crazy. No, but I mean, we're assuming that that Brock Lesnar is going to cost Obafemi. What if that's not the case? What if Obafemi ends up winning this thing? Because I don't see Brock Lesnar coming after Oba. It made sense for Lesnar to come after Oba before their second match, right? Now Brock Lesnar defeated Oba. Why would he come after Oba again and rub more salt on the wound? I think it should be the other way around.
No, because Brock wants the tiebreaker. He's going to want to prove it. He's the one who said 1 + 1, bitch. So he knows.
You're a bitch.
No, that's what he said to Oba.
My
bad. We call it, but no, like Brock's the one who insinuated that's 1-1. Brock's the kind of guy that likes to definitively have the record, definitively have the upper hand. He's going to want the tiebreaker because Brock is a consummate predator of an athlete. He needs to know he has your number. So Brock being the heel is absolutely going to cost Oba to incite Oba to come back after him for a third time. There's no way Oba wins this, because if Oba wins this, then what are you doing for Brock at SummerSlam? We're relegating him back to Gunther? At this point, there's only so many shows until SummerSlam. We've got what? Night of Champions and one more Saturday night's main event. In the Saturday night's main event, if Oba wins there, you think that he's really, and that's, I mean, I don't see that happening. There's no third match at Saturday night's main event. It's too big for that.
All right, Blood. Stop making sense, bro.
But you feel me.
I think that's good enough for today. I think we should call it here. We'll end on that note because we went over our time, but we'll see what happens on Monday Night Raw, and we'll see if we're right about these things. Thanks to everyone that hung out with us today on this review of Friday Night SmackDown. We'll be back again for Monday Night Raw and all that good stuff. And Mr. Blood, if you can take us home, that'd be lovely.
I will not be silenced. I will say my piece. No, I'm kidding. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Snug Wrestling. Thanks for kicking it with us. We appreciate every single one of you for tuning in, as always. Don't forget, we're live every Monday, Friday, and Wednesday when it comes to, oh, wait, no, that's not true. We're changing it. We're live every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, except on Thursdays, we go live on TikTok for 1 hour for random or relevant wrestling topics, and we answer your fan questions live with myself, Mr. Blood, and the head of Snug Wrestling, Edgar. We are now moving the Friday Night SmackDown reviews to Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 o'clock Central, that go in line with our Thursday night time slots. Of course, Monday and NXT will always go after the shows. But when it comes down to it, guys, you can always hang out with us on our weekly channels. If you miss any of our episodes, we have over 4,000 to 5,000 episodes on Apple and Spotify, an entire library for you to enjoy of Snug Wrestling history. And of course, you can support the channel by heading on over to our teepublic.com. That is TEE, like a t-shirt.com/Snug Wrestling to pick up your Snug Wrestling merch and support your favorite professional wrestling podcast. Guys, thank you so much. Until next time, stay safe, stay savage, and stay snug. I will not do the yeet because Tommy's connection is off. You guys enjoy the rest of your evening. We will see you tomorrow night for Monday Night Raw.